righty, CJ.
All right, take two.
Yes, we got it right. Let's see how long. Let's see when I disappear today. That'll be the big. Around 10:15. I'm scheduled to go through a wormhole, and we'll see. Wow. Hey, you know what? The most common comment that I have seen so far since we've done this new format. People really like the intro.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I appreciate that. I edited that together. It's a all original video with a hybrid of AI music and original music from yours truly. Hybrid there. Full disclosure, it's a little bit of a mix, but yeah, most people. The biggest comment that the most frequent comment is, "Hey, I like that intro." So thank you.
I like it.
Welcome to Talking Weather. We'll see how long it is until the gremlins show up. And if we keep having gremlins every day, I'm going to order some off of Amazon and have them in the office behind me ready to go. Or we'll get CJ to make a gremlins background. You could probably do that in your sleep using AI.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Talking Weather. And in fact, we have little doodads for that today. For example, this. Welcome to Talking Weather. It's Wednesday, the 11th of February, 2026. Good to see everybody. We'll go over what we're going to talk about in just a moment when we switch to the screen share. But what's happened in the last couple of days is when I get to Google Street View, for some reason, a little bit into that, I get bumped off. The stream keeps going, but I'm gone and I lose control of it. And my little restream window just says connecting.
That's so weird.
We have a way we think around this if it happens. We tried to replicate it last night between 10 and 11, and we couldn't get it to do it. So we were wondering, because it kept happening around 10:15 or so, was there something in my neighborhood that they keep turning the internet off? But that wasn't it, because I still had access. So we'll see. Hopefully we get through things today, and we won't have any problems. All right, let's see what's happening with the chat over here. Chat and show on stream. And again, it won't work today where it's on our stream, but apparently people see it. Last night it did. So we do have gremlins, because all I see is a black opaque strip.
That's all I see.
So let's see. We click this, and on the last stream,
you can see it on YouTube. So
so we can pop them up down there. Paging Gizmo, Howard knows, Karen, howdy y'all. But the whole lot of them doesn't show up. So I don't know. Some of the stuff I still have to figure out. We'll ask the Google AI sometime, or Chat GPT. What's going on? How come we can't get the chat to show where we can see it? But whatever. All right, let me show you what we have on deck for today. Jump up here, and we will share the entire screen. Thank you very much. And we good, CJ?
Yeah, I think you're doing it the right way.
So far, I haven't
for your screen to pop up. So,
but you see what we're supposed to see?
No, I don't see your screen. Try it again.
Oh, well, what the hell? I have to hit allow. I was too fast.
It's okay. There we go.
I was moving too fast.
Yeah, that was a good transition there.
All right, so we're going to talk about El Nino coming, maybe big. We'll see.
Right.
And yes, finally it's warmer. We were like in the mid 70s yesterday here in Wilmington. Oh, it was delightful. My daughter went on a walk in our neighborhood yesterday in the evening time, and she said that she didn't know that many people lived here because so many people were out walking.
Right.
I thought that was funny, the way she put it. There is a severe weather threat, but it's minimal. We're getting there, but with warm temperatures will come more severe weather, of course.
Exactly.
We're going to talk a little bit of aviation weather. I started following the aviation aircraft weather center, or whatever it is, on the Twitter, mainly to follow turbulence, mainly for selfish reasons. When I fly, I want to know. But we haven't talked aviation weather in a while. And there is something really odd that happened overnight last night. We'll talk about that and how it's resolved suddenly. All right, so those are our main topics. And then we got some neat tweets to show you as well. So let's take a look at the highs and lows for yesterday, Tuesday, the 10th of February, gone in the books. And with that, we're back to La Porta, CJ.
La Puerta, Texas.
La Porta, Texas. 88 degrees down there along the Rio Grande Valley. Toasty at 88. And then not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
No.
Pittsburgh they couldn't afford the H.
No,
Hampshire.
they could not.
Minus 17.
Looks wrong.
I know, right? I had to double check to make sure.
It looks wrong.
I know. I'm like, all right.
So fun fact, the U.S. government tried to take away the H, and then we got it back. There was about 4 years in the early 1900s that we lost the H, and we got it back.
Stupid government.
Yeah.
What's the Ronald Reagan expression? I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
The nine most dangerous words in the English language are I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
We're going to take your H away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So negative 17 up there, basically probably throw a baseball into Canada. I'll show you that
probably
in a moment. All right. So here is where everything goes to the crapper when I go to the Google Street View. So here's the regular plan view, as we call it. That's when you're looking down on a map.
Yep.
Geographic term. That is the municipality of La Porta, Texas. And to give you a little bit of context, it's down here in the Rio Grande Valley area.
Now you probably could throw a baseball and end up in Mexico.
That's right. And in fact, there's areas down where I'm going to be for the National Tropical Weather Conference where you could do that. You just don't want to hit anybody on the other side, or then you start running into problems, diplomatic problems. So be careful when you're throwing baseballs across international borders. Anyway, this is La Porta, and we will grab, and this is where it just goes. So we'll see. CJ's ready. Is he ready to text me? You're gone.
Yep.
So I'm going to grab my Google Street View person and throw them down here in La Porta, just somewhere out on the highway here. And this is where it is, 88 degrees. The big warm up is occurring across the lower 48. Yay, at least as far as I'm concerned. Winter can kick rocks. We're good, at least in the east. But this is it. It's flat down there. It looks kind of humid even in this shot.
Yep.
Which makes sense because it's from May of 2023. But, this is where it is. And look at those low clouds. You can just see the moisture. Mm-hmm. Probably a big severe weather day that day somewhere because of all that moisture.
Probably.
Depending on when they took this, the exact day, I bet we could literally go back and figure it out. Neat stuff. So that's La Porta. And I'm still here, right?
Yeah, you're still there.
Whoa. All right. Yes. So what about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh, way up here in New Hampshire.
Northern New Hampshire. Wow.
Yeah, way up there, darn close to the Canadian border. And so let's zoom in and see what it's like up there. And let's zoom in a little further, grab our Google Street View. Right, bam. So let's see what we got. Oh, that is lovely. Good stuff. Kind of reminds me of Beetlejuice a little bit. Remember that weird house they built? That was in New Hampshire as well, wasn't it?
Probably. If it was was that a Stephen King book?
No, it's not a book. That was from Tim Burton.
No, I know the movie. I just didn't know if it was a Stephen, like if it was a remake of a book.
I think it was.
I don't know. But Stephen King, it's always New England.
Catherine Burkett, you seem to know a lot about everything. Let us know. Weather Scott.
Yeah,
I believe Beetlejuice was just from the mind of Tim Burton, as far as I know. Oh, look at that! That was the fall when they took this.
Yeah, look at that beautiful red there on the left.
So this is September of 2022. There's a chance that you would have seen Matt and me drive by to get into Canada to go up to Nova Scotia for Fiona. Remember that stupid idea?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Where was I? Like, why would I have even thought that was a good idea? Let's drive to Canada for a hurricane. And it darn near cost us the Ian mission. We got there just in time, but story for another day. That's what we have the podcast for.
Exactly.
Stories from the Hurricane Highway. But this is beautiful area up here where it was negative 17 and the cold air still residing up in this region. Nice and pretty. Cool. All right. So we didn't lose the connection and I'm back. So far, so good, CJ. We are still here.
Yeah, that's scary.
The Gremlin Exterminator is earning his
about one more minute. It is 10:14.
Uh-oh, that's right. All right, so let's see. I like looking at some of the chat stuff, so we'll go back to the banter. And if I click on this, there we go. Speaking of the chat today and yesterday, my phone doesn't get the show notice, though I'm subscribed, but my husband's phone does. Interesting. I wonder how notifications work with YouTube. Is it email? Is it a push? Because that's important.
Sometimes it's a push notification.
All these big YouTubers always say, I've heard my kids for years, you hear the person, smash that like button, hit the notification bell like you're Mike Tyson. And it's got to be for a reason, right? But if it doesn't work, all that yelling that I hear is for naught. So that's a very good point you bring up, Nadine.
So I would first make sure that you did ring the bell, that you have notifications enabled, because when you subscribe to somebody, that doesn't automatically do that. So
interesting. Nadine has no chat. Biggest thing overnight was the rain in Florida. Did you get some rain in Florida, CJ?
Not here. Hopefully.
Beetlejuice corrector and cast. That's funny. All right, so we're still here, and it's 10:16. We didn't get bumped off today, or I didn't, whatever. So that's good. All right, so let's go back and show you what's happening in the lower 48. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. Yes, we will allow, and then we are going to go over here. Bam! We're getting better at this.
Hey, look at that.
All right, so pretty quiet overall in the lower 48, which is right here. You count them up, there's 48 of them, I promise.
Yep.
There's 49, there's 50. All right. And really the only game in town, winter weather-wise, is up here in Maine. A few winter weather advisories across the lakes region. But then, and this is great to see, CJ fell down and hurt himself.
I'm still here, just relocating to a better space.
The areas out west finally starting to get a little bit more winter action, which is so desperately needed. We'll talk about that more. But a few winter weather advisories and some winter storm conditions out there, winter storm warnings here for parts of the Sierra. And that's good because they're going to need it. Now, I'm very curious, CJ, why do we have, and let's highlight it in red here, flash flood warnings or flood warnings in northeastern Nebraska?
Good
Let's
question.
click and find out. So northern Nebraska is under a flood watch. Why? For ice jam. That's what I figured.
Okay, yeah.
So using AI music, we can create an ice jam.
I believe there's a certain princess from a certain mouse company that may have some issues with that.
That's true. That's true. Yes. And I think OpenAI has that deal with Sora where they were eventually going to allow Disney IP into Sora. And you could literally create Elsa and that goofy snowman Olaf doing an ice jam in Nebraska.
Interesting.
Not that anybody ever asked for that. We keep coming back to that. Nobody asked for this.
Again, we need that t-shirt.
Right.
Nobody asked for this.
And people can ask us, what does that mean? And like, we'll be glad to tell you. The AI thing, it's so weird. But anyway, flood watches because of ice jams. So CJ, that gives me an idea. We need to talk about ice jams one day as a topic. So
yes, we do.
I will need to make a note of that. In fact, let me make a note of that right now.
I will say, if you've never seen one, they are really neat.
I know
when they break.
Tomer Berg was talking about it potentially being an issue on the Hudson.
It's going to be a problem on a lot of rivers there. Although with how warm everything became very quickly up there, I don't know. It's been a long time, but yeah, where our camp is up in the northern Allegheny River Valley, we'd get them every so often.
Let me show you this from Tomer Berg, not Yomer, Tomer. He posted this the other day. This just kind of popped up. We'll throw it into neat tweets. We'll just jump to that. He posts a lot, so it's going to take me some time. Here's the Hudson River. Check in, still icy, but he had a picture of it where you could see Manhattan in the distance. Let's see if I can find that sucker. Uh-oh. Why is Windows doing that? You still there?
I'm still here. We're still here.
I hate that. Ba-boom. Scares me. Where's the picture, Tomer? I know you posted it. Yes, there it is.
Oh, wow.
This isn't your typical view of the Hudson River across from Manhattan. Widespread ice coverage across the river this morning. This was way back on the 6th of February, with wind gusts reaching 45 to 55 miles per hour tomorrow from the northwest. And given the already extensive ice coverage, I'd imagine, he said, there is a risk of an ice push.
Oh, an ice push. Okay. Yeah, it's a little different.
In the Hudson waterfront in Manhattan tomorrow. So we will have to dig in.
Yeah, we're going to have
an
to.
ice push and an ice jam.
Yeah, the ice pushes, those things are otherworldly and alien.
Right.
If you've never seen a video of one, just Google it. Look it up on YouTube. They are freaky, man.
So interesting stuff there. I knew that this jogged my memory.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. All right. So yeah, it's warming up. That's part of our topics for today. And these are not always in order. Okay. So let's talk about finally it's warmer.
Yeah.
And mainly in the east here. So let's look at that first. Eastern United States. So you can see the very warm air. This is your 2-meter temperature forecast. And really about 18 Z of every day is roughly peak heating.
Yep.
So very nice. 60s and 70s, Florida in the 80s. That's terrific. Texas, Mississippi there. You just go forward 4 frames and you keep going to 18 Z the next day. So a pretty good warm up. And what I like to see, because again, I'm done with winter. Winter's fired. We're good. It can be put away. Furloughed. The 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit isotherm line of equal temperature for those of you playing at home, right there. And that's where it can stay. Fine. Don't come farther south than that. Okay? Stay up there. But yeah, it looks pretty good over the next several days.
It does.
With nice and warm weather. This is out to the 18th of February. Widespread 70s. Even into southern Missouri, Oklahoma warming up, the Florida Peninsula toasty, South Texas, and then looking on out to 204 hours. We'll stop around this time frame. But you notice there's just no big pushes of deep Arctic air. It tries. It's way up here in Canada, and y'all can keep it. Minus 32 up there. Just stay north of the border. We're good. Look at that. Some upper 80s here, getting out around hour 210. 90s in Mexico. So yeah, it's starting to warm up. But if we broaden this out and look at the lower 48 as a whole, you can just figure out basic synoptic meteorology just by looking at this, CJ.
Yes, you can.
Ridge in the east now, troughing out west. Very generally speaking, that's why we're getting this. And this right here, despite, not everybody's a fan of the cold, that's a good sign because this should usher in some storminess. And look at the detail on this, the way this warm air is surging north.
Yep.
Once we get into severe weather season, stuff like that's really going to matter.
Yep. Exactly.
So with this, let's look at the dew points real quick, which they are right there. So around the same time, pretty high dew points, nice little mid-latitude cyclone starting to creep up, 50s and 60s as we get towards severe weather season. And of course, you juxtapose that to these negative 22 points in Canada. Winter still hanging around, but that's what the clash of seasons will bring us.
Yep.
See those dew points moving through. So starting to warm things up.
Exactly.
Which is good. I will take it. I like that. It's transitioning in and out. I haven't disappeared yet. This is great.
Good.
So far, so good. All right. What else? Let's take a look at the chat over here, see what people are saying. Michael Keaton, Gina Davis, directed by Tim Burton. So probably not a novel. It's just from the mind of Tim Burton.
Just him.
Yes. On the Philippines side, let's look at this real quick. In the Philippines, 5 to 11 tropical cyclones could form according to the Pagasa. From February through July. 20 to 28 for the Westpac as a whole. This prediction could change as always. Good to see gaming back with us out there in the Philippines. We will be tracking that, of course. All tropical cyclones matter in our world.
Yeah, in the Philippines, y'all know what it's like to get slammed by tropical cyclones. Typhoons out there, right? They are. Oh, there they go. Yay. We might want to make them a little smaller, though.
Yep,
not
let's do this.
squinting.
Right.
But that's definitely better. Yeah. Don't want to be Believe me, people don't want to see this up close.
Right. Break out the
but,
binoculars
Yeah.
so I can read my own screen.
But
Yeah, it's great to see people commenting. Thank you. We like your
Great.
comments.
But yeah, the Philippines, they have their own naming conventions too, right?
Yes, so they will switch it over from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center.
Right.
And when it enters the Pagasa area of responsibility,
Yeah, it gets a new
then
name.
they switch over. And good examples of that would be Haiyan.
Yeah, Haiyan.
And then I think it had a different name. And I bet you gaming can tell us what that name was when Haiyan came into the Pagasa area of responsibility.
Okay.
So,
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, let's move along. Go back to, we're on the banter. Let's go back to screen share. And let's check out our next topic as we move along in today's show. Entire screen works for me. And the next topic is, and I didn't do the graphic that CJ did, but that's fine. This is neat tweets, and this is real. All right, I'm going to preface that.
I was wondering if this was actually real or AI, because I saw this today too.
Yep, it's the old algorithm serving you up some tornado or snow vorticity. Check this out. This is from Japan.
Snow devil.
A snow devil. Yep.
That's what I would call it, at least.
Absolutely.
Really cool.
Not a snow tornado. That's what they called it in the tweet, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But look at that. Multiple vortex.
So cool.
Really neat. And that's real, not AI.
You know, that's some really dry, fluffy powder right there.
Exactly.
Because I can tell you right now, I've never seen that in the Eastern United States.
Really, really cool. So I've seen an ash devil do that.
Right.
And in fact, that reminds me, let me jump on my YouTube real quick. And I'm going to pull that sucker up and show you guys.
While you're doing that, I will say he did go ahead and throw that in there. It was Yolanda in the Philippines.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Ash devil HurricaneTrack. Bingo. So,
oh yeah, I remember this.
Showed you a snow devil out there in Japan. This is an ash devil. Horrible pictures of me on the right, so just ignore those. We'll go full screen. Geez, what was wrong with me? So this is the raw video from an ash devil that I caught via drone over in the Kaibab National Forest in Arizona, which had a terrible fire in the summer of 2020. I was out there. It's a whole other story. But let's fast forward to where we get close to this sucker. So that is the ash from that forest fire. And I took the drone, flew it out to check this sucker out. And here's a close-up of it. Really, really interesting that anything that can get airborne with enough wind around on this planet, and we've seen it even on Mars, tends to rotate. You see it in your backyard with leaves, little piles of trash. So yeah, that was from Arizona in July of 2020. Flew the drone right up to that. This was actually on the Travel Channel. They bought this footage and showed it on something about traveling across the USA, and I think I made $600 from that video.
Wow.
So there you go.
Look at that.
So I thought I'd show you that since we were talking about that in Japan. So a very neat tweet.
Cool.
So yeah, anything that can get airborne on our planet, and again, we know it does it on Mars as well. And it's that good old Coriolis force. Even in your pots of boiling water, you see little steam devils come up, little small areas of vorticity.
Yep.
Very, very interesting stuff. Physics. All right. This is from Jeremy. And he texts me every once in a while. I wonder if he's up this morning seeing this. Jeremy's showed up in the neat tweets today. Very isolated showers developing thanks to ample moisture through 700 millibars. And I love that term, orographic lift.
Yep.
The mountains help to lift that moisture up. This is Sierra Vista. And I spy with my little eye a Texas Roadhouse that I have eaten at. And that's probably not proper grammar. I don't care. There it is. Been there, done that 3 or 4 times with Jeremy.
Beautiful.
No kidding. And that looks like snow on top of the mountains there. I've also been on this mountain. This is Sierra Vista, and Jeremy lives there with his family. But that is Texas Roadhouse, and I have been there Weather, Scott. You and I went there this past year.
So, Mark, this is down in the Tucson area?
South of there, almost to Mexico. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Extreme southeast Texas, practically to Mexico. And
You mean southeast Arizona?
Yeah, southeast. Yeah, sorry. Southeast Arizona, practically in Mexico. But Scott and I were out there this past summer checking out some monsoon action, more forest fire chasing than anything.
Right.
But sorry, I got distracted by the Texas Roadhouse, and who wouldn't? Those rolls call you. So focusing on the orographic lift part and the moisture at 700 millibars, I love it when meteorology gets baked into a picture, and then the Texas Roadhouse just perfect. Yep. All right. So let's get back to banter and talk about El Nino, because we're going to move into that segment in just a moment. Snow devils have also been seen in Scotland. Appreciate that info. And William says 1,000-foot ice shelf has formed at the Arctic Circle, projected to form higher to cover North America. Hopefully not.
Let's
fast. Let's don't have that. Good humor though. He's got the little space on there that shows us he's joking. You know what? Internet misses and does not really have inflection.
Yeah.
And so you can, anyway. So let's talk about El Nino a little bit. First of all, what is El Nino? So it is the abnormal warming of the equatorial Pacific due to a combination of the slowing of the trade winds, which allows the Western Pacific warm pool to advance in the subsurface eastward, and then it upwells through some easterly winds that creates the upwelling, and you're upwelling warm water, because normally when the trades are nice and strong, you keep the Pacific warm pool way to the west, and cold water lurks deep beneath the equatorial Pacific off of South America, and that water upwells, and you either get a La Nina or neutral conditions. It just seems like we're never balanced. That's pretty much weather in a nutshell. Is weather is never balanced. If it was,
weather is the attempt at balance.
Right. Exactly. Weather is the attempt to balance. So let's take a look at what we're seeing in regards to this potential El Nino, which we're going to be hearing a lot more about, and especially when we get towards hurricane season, because there will be potential effects. All right. So one of the sites that we will monitor more and more, a couple times a month, is the Columbia Climate School and their International Research Institute for Climate and Society. And I just call it the Columbia IRI site for short.
That works.
And they do this great diagnostic discussion of what's happening with El Nino, or the ENSO, El Nino Southern Oscillation phenomenon. And if we look at just these normal bar graphs here, this is the one that came out. Let's see if it'll let me enlarge it in a new tab, and it will. So this was issued, this is the official NOAA Climate Prediction Center probabilities issued in January.
Right.
Exactly when they issued it, I don't know. But a new one is coming, and we're going to visit that later in the month.
Okay.
At the time of this, El Nino, by August, September, October, this time frame right through here, peak of hurricane season, slightly better than 60% probability that we would see El Nino conditions, or 0.5 Celsius or higher in the Nino 3.4 area of the Pacific. I'll show you what that means in a moment. So don't worry, I'll show you. So lately, though, the mid, so this is January 20th. Okay, there you go. So then you have the probabilistic ENSO forecast, and we can open this in a new tab. These are interesting because these are below 50%.
Very interesting.
September, October. So we'll see. And there are some changes afoot that we've been noticing. Ben and a couple other people talking about Ben Knoll. I don't want to start speculating too early that maybe we don't see an El Nino, but well, let me just show you some evidence here of some things that we're going to be watching. All right. Well, we can kind of figure it out together. So this is the sea surface temperature anomaly map that I've been showing for years and years and years.
Right.
This is the flat image of it, not animated, whatever, beautiful Mercator projection, so forth and so on. And this is the ENSO region that we're talking about through here. And the 3.4 area is roughly through there. And when this warms to about 0.5 Celsius or more, it's officially called an El Nino after, I think, 3 months of it or something like that. It's all these different check marks that have to get ticked off, and then you're in an El Nino. So let's watch how this has evolved over the last 90 days through this beautiful animation. So as we wait for it to load, because it's a lot of frames, there's the La Nina clearly in place at the end of November through December. And then the trade winds started to slow. We actually got some westerly winds coming across this area, and everything was slowing down trade wind wise, that we started to warm that region. So we went from La Nina, very prominent, to most recent times here where especially the East Pac starting to warm up, and we're losing the cold look to it, relatively speaking, out in the Nino 3.4 region and even the Nino 4 area. So what does all that mean? Let's go back to the static graphic. There we go. We'll be watching to see how does this evolve in the coming months, because it's not absolutely set in stone. Now let's look at a couple of animations here. Got to refresh this so it'll in fact animate. This is that subsurface that I was telling you about. So this is a cross section of what I just showed you. This is the surface up here. This is 450 meters deep. This is the Eastern Pacific, and this is way out beyond 120 east. So as the animation recycles, there's all that subsurface cold, and it quickly starts to erode. And very deep, warm anomalies start to show up. Now, these are generated through westerly wind bursts that sort of force that down. It's called a downwelling Kelvin wave. And then they propagate several meters a day eastward to be upwelled like a conveyor belt over here in the East Pac. But to keep that going, CJ and everybody else, you got to have that westerly wind burst action continuing.
And Mark, you and I talked about this last night. I mean, we're not going to see that.
So to that point, this is where we have been. This is the past all through here. This is the East Pac, your date line, all the way over to the Indian Ocean, whatever. You're looking at longitudinal cross section on one regard, and then 5 south to north south on latitude. All right. So the tropics. This is your westerly wind burst action way back in January. And that was pretty substantial. And that gave us what we saw here with that warm water that was able to set in the subsurface. But in recent times, you've had a reduction in trades and some westerly wind action, but a lot of easterlies have developed. And the GFS is advertising a substantial resumption of easterly winds out near the date line and points west.
That's
with
insane.
The westerly wind burst occurring. I'm a geography dude, but 60 east, that's the Indian Ocean, I think. Maybe.
So
it certainly isn't in the West Pac. All right. We know that.
Not in the West Pac.
So that's interesting. And then over here in the Atlantic, some decent trades, but that is really strong. And these are your anomalies, by the way, your zonal wind anomalies at 5,000 feet. So you're talking strong easterly winds advertised by the GFS as we go forward. And so it'll be interesting to watch. I forgot to pull up this doodad. How does this react? This is a daily update from the CFS. Currently, still advertising a pretty stout El Nino at least 1.5 Celsius by October.
You know, Mark, a couple of people have commented it. I know that Gaming with Trip, he has on there, some El Nino. See, he's talking about, I guess, years that he remembers. One of those years really kind of pops up. There's two actually that pop up there that I kind of wanted to address: 2018 and 2013.
Yes.
And I really find it
arguably,
interesting.
You're right.
That he even pointed that out, being from the Philippines.
Yes.
Because what happens out there, folks, you got to remember that does eventually influence our weather here on a complete other side of the globe.
Yep. The bullwhip effect is one way to look at it. Also, teleconnections.
Yep.
You take all that heat from a powerful typhoon, you move it into the extratropical regions and feed that energy into the jet stream. And you do have downstream effects over here in North America. So very good points. And of course, 2018, we did have a warm-ish look to the INSO regions of the Pacific, and the Atlantic was kind of coldish looking, and then it rebounded around August, September, and we still ended up with devastating Florence, North Carolina's most damaging hurricane because of the flooding and the population. And I get that, but Category 1, and it's our most expensive hurricane. Go figure. And then, of course, we had Category 5 Michael, October 10th, 2018. 2013, a very down hurricane season for the Atlantic, and a very big and deadly, memorable typhoon season ending with Haiyan/Yolanda out in the Philippines. So we'll be monitoring this a lot closer as we go through, because basically your El Nino helps to create upper level winds across the Caribbean and the Western Main Development region that decapitates, shears tropical waves and doesn't allow them to really get going. But if the Atlantic were to suddenly warm like we saw in 2023, that was pretty unbelievable, to be honest with you. Probably won't see anything like that again, hopefully for a long time. The two start to outdo each other, and you get sort of the relative El Nino, which Ben Knoll talks a lot about. Is it really El Nino if the global temperatures of the oceans are already warmer anyway? So there's a lot of factors here, and even a down hurricane season doesn't mean there will be no impacts. That's
it only takes one.
Stating the obvious, of course. All right. So far so good. We're cooking with gas today. No problem. As soon as I say that, an elephant will come bursting into the office. All right, let's get back to the screen share here. So we'll keep an eye on the plumes, the forecast, and especially that one from the IRI. When this gets updated, we'll revisit this. Probably gets updated towards the end of the month, so we'll do that. Okay, so this was interesting. I saw this from Chris Bianchi out there. And we talked about this a little bit before, yesterday and days prior. Finally, the Rockies. You're going to get you some snow. Chris putting this out recently.
It's about time.
Sorry. Some flakes starting to show up this morning. Snow won't entirely end in the mountains until Saturday or Sunday. Should get some decent totals, a few powder days this weekend. That reminds me. Let me jump on our site and let's grab nope, not that one. The interactive map, and let's see what it looks like in Black Forest. And give this time to pop up. The good old nest system. There it is. Nope, not quite. There's a little bit of snow over here that we didn't see the other day. This is all still brown. This is like 7,000 feet up. That's Pikes Peak right there, just in case you were wondering. And this is one of our cameras. This is hosted by Scott out there in the Black Forest area. And I got to get Matt to get his camera back on. It's grayed out. I'm still with you, right, CJ?
Yeah, you're still here.
Whew, scared me. Everything's quiet. But yeah, we'll have to check this Black Forest cam again tomorrow and see if we finally get some snow here in this area. All right, so let's get on to looking at some flight stuff. That hadn't talked about this in a while. Looking pretty good today overall. Phoenix is looking like the best. Hardly any red on there at all. Pretty close here also in San Francisco. Not too bad. The Northeast corridor is just always going to be jacked because 40 million people live up there, and those airports are just tough.
Yeah, the Northeast corridor from DC to Boston, it's always delayed, and anybody that lives on the 95 corridor, traffic sucks.
CJ, have you ever flown into LaGuardia?
I've never actually been to New York City. I've been to New York State many times. I've never been to New York City. You got to remember where I grew up. Geography's deceiving, man. Pittsburgh was just as close to Chicago as it was to,
One does not simply just run over to New York City. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like we were connected, but we really weren't.
I see.
And for a while, Pittsburgh was its own airport hub for U.S. Airways. So we didn't need to fly. We were the hub.
Sure. Well, I think aesthetically, LaGuardia is my favorite airport in the lower 48.
I've heard nothing but great things since they've completely redone, which is funny because 5-10 years ago, LaGuardia was the crappiest airport in the lower 48.
And then as far as just smooth operations overall, honestly, it's Dallas Fort Worth for me.
Okay.
Every time I go through there, it's just absolute cake. It's easy. The rental car situation, everything about it, smooth and just absolute. And I know that's American's hub and so forth, and their headquarters.
I feel like, it's very similar. So I fly Delta. Mark's an American Airlines guy. So for me, like connecting, I love connecting through Atlanta. Easily.
Atlanta makes me nervous.
It does because it's so busy. But if you actually, if you spend any time connecting, it's built for connections. That's what that airport is built for. It's the busiest in the world. There's a ton of amenities.
By the way. Right.
But I will say my favorite airport, and I am biased because it's my home airport, but Tampa International is an origin or destination airport. It's one of the easiest.
Right.
Another good one that I've flown into before, I really liked Wichita.
Yes.
That was a great airport.
True. Nice small airport. And ILM down here in Wilmington, they're building ours out.
Oh, wow.
To be bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, it's nuts. Many tens of millions of dollars of upgrades. And Wilmington's trying to become a serious city. We're working on it.
Trying to become a serious city.
Yeah, we have some work to do.
Well, there's no real big cities on north of Jacksonville until you get to Hampton Roads.
Right. Well, you got Raleigh, but coastal, you're right.
No, exactly. I mean, like coastal cities. I mean, Charleston and Savannah are not in Wilmington. They're not that big. They're not as big as people think they are.
I don't know. Take a drive with me down College Road to pick up Josh, and he said, "Tell me how small we are."
No, I'm saying like they're not as big as people think they are. But, there definitely is a missing
link. Big, though. Believe me, it's
yeah.
Anyway, so one of the things I've been following, because I found this by accident in my algorithm a few weeks back, is the aircraft. What you call it? You're supposed to be able to mouse over it. There we go. Aviation Weather Center. Sorry, from the National Weather Service, and this shows you your turbulence. Among other things, and just kind of scrolling back here, hasn't been too darn bad, but I highly suggest you guys follow this. I'm following them for when I do fly. Want to know about that turbulence? We've had some turbulence most recently on the 9th up here in parts of the high plains, and that is severe turbulence. That's a big no thank you from me. So just thought I'd point that out. But overall, aviation weather, not too shabby as of late.
Right.
But this morning, I saw a lot of people.
Yeah, this is very interesting.
I know you're not supposed to wake up and just immediately look at your phone. It's part of this whole, but that's what I do. I like to see what's good. And they say it's for the dopamine hit. I'm like, no, I just like to see what's happening in the world. I'm not looking to see who texted me and how important I am. Everything in the entire world is right here on this device. And so I look at it, I check the weather, I see headlines, whatever. I look at Twitter, and one of the top things was this, and I selected this particular tweet from our friend Robert Ray at Fox Weather. Overnight, inexplicably, without warning, the FAA rolled up the airspace. They put a TFR, temporary flight restriction, for El Paso for 10 days, grounding everything. And there was a lot of hullabaloo about it. And then all of a sudden, the FAA came out and said, temporary closure of airspace has been lifted. There is no threat to commercial aviation. Flights can resume as normal. Poof.
Right.
So I don't know. Might have been some military stuff with drone action down in Mexico going after the cartels. Stay tuned for your regular news outlets for that. But I thought it was interesting, and it could have been related to weather because you never know. It could have been for that.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, it's whatever Wednesday. I can throw that in there. Right. But seriously, you think about that movie, and please tell me you have seen this movie, CJ.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I believe this was filmed actually in Pittsburgh.
Negative. Mobile, Alabama.
Was it? Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm thinking of Super 8. Never mind.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. Believe me, it's weird that they shot Close Encounters of the Third Kind in Mobile. And obviously some stuff out in Wyoming, but a lot of the soundstage stuff was Mobile, and they had a terrible thunderstorm. In fact, there is a podcast called Blockbuster and y'all ought to listen to that. It's on your wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Blockbuster, and it's produced by this guy named Matt Schrader, who I've interacted with over Twitter. I'm hoping to meet him when I'm in Austin on my way to the Hurricane Conference. Story for another day, but they talk about filming Close Encounters. Blockbuster, there's 2 seasons. The first season is, I think it's called World Builders or something like that. And it's about Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. And then season 2 is about James Cameron. And that's how I knew that that a lot of the soundstage stuff was shot in Mobile. Obviously, they had to go out to Wyoming to shoot Devil's Tower.
Right.
But I wasn't seriously considering that there were going to be aliens landing. But in the movie, they needed to get, and there's that line where the general or the colonel or whatever it is, he says, we need something so scary that it'll clear every living Christian soul within 300 miles of this location, whatever the line was. And so they concocted this idea that there was nerve gas from a train derailment because they had to get all the people out so that the spaceships could come in and do their thing. When I saw this, I thought, well, you never know. And
see, in my head was Independence Day.
Oh, that's scary. You went the other way.
I did.
Close Encounters was benevolent.
Right.
They returned the captured pilots from the Bermuda Triangle and whatever. Right. And Richard Dreyfuss and company went on board and blah, blah, blah. But anyway,
just it's a great movie. It is a great movie. It's a classic.
Yeah.
So for me, at least,
we got a new one. CJ, let's just do this. Let's banter for a second. He's got that Disclosure Day coming out.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Me about that.
Yeah, I'm not a big movie guy, so for those watching, it takes a lot for me to get into a theater, but there's a certain kind of movie that I really like. So I'm into horror flicks and thrillers and sci-fi.
Right.
And that ticks all those boxes. So, and it's a Spielberg film. Come on.
Yep. And it'll be John Williams' last score.
Exactly.
His 80th score, from what I understand.
Yep.
But yeah, by the way, so that show, the podcast is called Blockbuster.
Okay.
I highly recommend you guys listen to that. It is phenomenal. It's got terrific voice acting and Foley effects. It won some awards. And Epiclef Media produced it, I believe. I'm really hoping I can meet the guy that helped to do it. His name is Matt Schrader. He also did a film called Score, a film music documentary. And that's how I got into all this. So anyway, yeah. So on one of our long journeys, CJ, when we're not streaming, or if we want to mute the stream so we don't get copyright strikes, we can listen to Blockbuster. I like that. That ship is not a close encounter, merely my own third kind self arriving to take me home to my native planet. Yes. Love it. All right, let's wrap things up with a look at severe weather. And again, we're learning. This is getting better and better. Let's see if we can get the old screen share to work. I've got a screen share. I'm tapping H. Oh, I know what it is. It's my telestrator. It's conflicting with the hotkey.
Gotcha.
Or maybe it's not, but whatever. We're almost done. We've almost accomplished what we need to accomplish. So leaving close encounters behind, we talked about severe weather possibly popping up. So what about today? Out west, some instability, enough so that we could have some random thunderstorm activity. Nothing major, just convection, I guess you could say, in parts of the Great Basin out to San Francisco and vicinity. And then down here in the low country of South Carolina through the swamps of Georgia. And we'll check in tomorrow with Jen. This isn't too far from where she is, I don't think, although she said her location will be a mystery. So we'll have to find out tomorrow. Let's look at radar scope real quick, CJ. Let's see what's around my neck of the woods. Still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Whew, man, wow. I'm so used to disappearing that you just never know. So here's Wilmington and vicinity. A few random showers, nothing major. Looking down at Charleston and their radar. Yeah, I don't see any lightning showing up. So again, this is just your general thunderstorm activity.
Right.
Not necessarily, it's not even marginal.
No, not even. And then tomorrow, there's really not anything across most of the lower 48. But as we move into the day 3 and then 4 through 6 timeline mark, that's where we're going to start to see a small uptick. Starting tomorrow or starting on Friday, we could see some scattered, severe weather. There's a marginal risk out there in far West Texas. It's Midland, Odessa, Big Spring. We know that country well out there.
Yes, we do. The Permian Basin.
Yep, the Permian Basin. So we could see some, a marginal risk of severe weather, mainly large hail is what they're thinking based on the forecast from the SPC. But then
love using large hail.
Yep. But then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is kind of still a toss-up. The models really still aren't in agreement on what's going to happen, if there's going to be enough instability for some severe weather. But what we do know is that a pretty decent slog of moisture is heading for the eastern United States, especially the southeast. So we could at least see some heavy rain in, the Gulf Coast states minus Florida. And then eventually some of the models do work that down into Florida. And I know, Mark, we need it. We need the rain bad down here. So
there's that mid-latitude storm crossing through. And this is your precipitation depiction, the rate.
Yeah.
So pretty heavy rain there in parts of Mississippi. And then finally in the peninsula, it just kind of drags on and dies out over the Bahamas with a secondary low off of Hatteras. The Euro is still not all by itself, but it's more amped.
Very. So, it's a matter of wait and see. Because that right there looks pretty decent.
Yeah, 99 hours out,
Yeah. So once we start getting past so tomorrow we'll definitely know more as the cams really start to pick up on it. But I do want to point out that if you watch as it approaches the Tampa Bay area and Central Florida, we get another flare up of severe weather. So, that's one model. Is it deterministic? I don't know what we're going to see out of it.
Dew points, 50s and 60s.
Everything realistically will be there. It's just, is the big question is, heating and instability. There's just not a lot of instability right now. So we'll see.
Yep. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll talk about it again tomorrow, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's just interesting to me that the GFS, of course, this is at 90 hours because we're on the 12Z. At least when we get back to daylight saving time, we won't have this issue where it jumps ahead.
Right.
But, they're kind of different. So we'll have to see if one caves to the other. And because the GFS seems to be slower.
Yes, the GFS is slower and more southerly with the track of the surface low, whereas the Euro is definitely more progressive and further to the north. So if it does pull in further to the north, I think we could see a slight risk on Saturday for portions of Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana, because that's where it seems to be the most favorable with that warm on flow from the Gulf. But it's a matter of waiting and seeing.
Pretty good points there.
Yeah. So, for me personally, I know I've, talked about it. If I decide to go out and chase this weekend, what I'll probably do is Friday, head up to Pensacola and reevaluate from there.
You know what I have noticed over the years, and to your point that you might go up there, I want to point out, use this blue color here. More often than not, I've seen some good storms that come in here near Panama City Beach, near Mexico Beach.
Absolutely.
They come screaming in off the Gulf, and they like that little curvature.
Yeah, we get something very similar here in my area. If you look, our coastline is pretty similarly angled northwest to southeast. So it's a little bit south of the Tampa Bay area. We actually have that southwest to northeast or northwest to southeast hook of our coastline there. And I think that's part of it. But yeah, absolutely. As these storms come on shore, they tighten up. And then sometimes they'll broaden out and tighten up again once they get a little inland.
And you can use I-10 up here to move laterally fairly quickly, 98 along the coast.
Absolutely. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. But I definitely, if something like this occurs, I want to be closer to home.
Right.
In case some of these storms are a little bit more fiery Sunday evening.
Right. Does the Euro do the radar depiction? Yeah. Not on this extent.
You should be seeing rain and frozen, like what it is. So
but the GFS will actually show simulated radar or whatever.
It might be under lower. I know what you're talking about. I don't see it.
Radar. Duh, rain and frozen. And the Euro, I don't think has that.
It does. It has MSLP and precip, rain and frozen.
Right. Similar, but I like the simulated radar. But anyway, something to watch for as we go forward. All right. So we get back to the banter and see what we have on. Why is that there? That's weird. Just some, like, for whatever reason, something on my YouTube, it says reply, block user. Like, I didn't click anything. So I don't know.
It's fine.
Small gremlins today. Well, it's the top of the hour. We got through without me vanishing. Anything else from your end before we wrap things up? And I got to do a show note about tomorrow that's very important.
Yeah. No, sir. So take it away.
All right. Tomorrow, good news and bad news. The good news is I have been invited by the Hurricane Research Division down there in Virginia Key. Been there, presented there years ago, a few times. Bragging, sorry. They've invited me to do that again through the magic of the internet tomorrow. However, they want me to come on between 10 and noon.
Gotcha.
And believe me, I'm not going to be moving the Hurricane Research Division's meeting for our little show here.
Right.
They're not going to do that. So I told them I need to be done by 11:45. We call that in the business a hard out.
Right.
Like non-negotiable. And we will do the show here tomorrow at noon.
Sounds good.
Eastern time. All right. So noon Eastern time. And you never know. We might have, that's actually better because more people tune in. I don't know.
Right.
I've just
chose
10 a.m., whatever. Maybe noon turns out to be a much more popular time frame. It'll be a little test.
Yeah.
As well as I have to do it because it's quite the honor to be invited by HRD to do a presentation. And what might you ask, am I going to present? Basically, we're going to look over 20 years of how we've been using our technology to observe the impacts of hurricanes and other severe weather and how we use other severe weather. I've talked about this here before, leading back to what we do in hurricane season. We call it the circle of life, hurricane version. So noon tomorrow. And then Friday, not going to be here. Got stuff I have to do. So no show Friday. Sorry. That's okay. They'll be back Monday. But tomorrow at noon, Dark Friday. So there you go.
Sounds good.
That's what they say in Vegas when there's not a show, Dark Thursdays or Dark Mondays. Do you know that, CJ? That's what they call it.
No, I did not.
It's a stage term. All right. I think that is just about it. I believe I can hit my mic and my camera button and I will disappear and turn into a logo. And we will see you fine folks tomorrow. I'm Mark Sudduth. That's CJ Morgan. We got through talking weather with minimum gremlins. That's great. See you at noon tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in and participating, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.